Overflows. Sufism and Enlightenment. Sufism is the essence or essential core of Islam. I had mentioned Islam has four pillars: Shariat, Hadith, these are the outer dimensions, and inner dimension, Hakikat and Tasawwuf. These are the inner dimensions, and Sufism revolves around these two inner dimensions, Hakikat and Tasawwuf. Tasawwuf is the confluence of love and poetry. It is known as Ishq Hakiki. When you have known Haq, that is Hakikat means Haq, the truth. When you have known truth, love blossoms within, and then when you attain totality, that's where the tasawwuf begins. And what connects Hakikat and tasawwuf is nisbat, the heart-to-heart communion, the connection. So Sufism as such does not have the concept of enlightenment in it, but you have to understand what really enlightenment is. Enlightenment has two shores, because enlightenment, if I say, is a river of consciousness that flows between the two shores. First shore is the inner shore and the outer shore. So inner shore means the egocentric identities and all that relates, as the word is used in Sufism, nafs. Nafs means the same thing as egocentric identities. You are identified with the body, you are identified with the other aspect. So it starts the seven aspects. These are known as the personalities. Nafs. Nafs lawama, nafs mutmain, nafs, all these seven aspects of it. So when these dissolve, that state comes in the inner shore. Inner shore means drop has merged into the ocean. So the drop merging in the ocean means master is symbolic of ocean, because he has encompassed totality within him. There is a particular the sutra, particular couplet, सागरे पीर को पी के बैठा हूं मैं, ये वो नशा नहीं जो उतर जाएगा. Sagar means ocean, पीर means sheikh. सागरे पीर को पी कर बैठा हूं मैं, I have drunk the oceanic presence of the master, of the sheikh, to my heart's content. And it is not that intoxication which will vanish as it is. It is not a normal kind of intoxication. It is the mystical wine, which I said at times, the बहुत कड़वी है मैं साकी की, रंग लाएगी गर सांसों में उतर आने दो. Indeed, bitter is the mystical wine of this brewer. Allow it to come in, allow it to descend in you. Certainly it will create miracle. So Master's presence is oceanic. His love is infinite, or to infinite quantum. That's why it is known as two types of concept of ishq is used in Sufism, ishq hakiki and ishq mazazi, means the love for the transient, which is the body, mind, and all that outer dimension. And the ishq hakiki means, haq means truth, love for the haq, ishq hakiki. So this is more intense. So master symbolizes that, and when drop merges into the ocean, it becomes this state in Sufism is known as Fana Fuel Sheikh. The disciple, the seeker, the salik has merged into the oceanic presence of the sheikh. So the love brewing in the heart of the disciple is so intense that nothing, no ordinary love or anything can satiate him except the ultimate love, which is of the nature of truth, which is symbolic, which represents, manifests through the sheikh. So Fanafi will shake. When this happens, it is known as the drop merging into the ocean. This is the inner shore. But the river of consciousness cannot flow until the other shore comes in. The other shore is the ocean becomes drop, or that state in Sufism is called Fanafiul Murid. The master is so much, they it cannot use the word obsessed. The love of the disciple for the master is so much that it becomes bounden duty of the master to take care of the disciple. So he is concerned with everything that surrounds the disciple, every aspect of his life, the physical, the emotional, the intellectual, all the aspects of the life, he is taken care of by the master. This state is known as Fanafiul Murid. So this is ocean becoming drop. But is there any gap between these two stages? The drop merging into the ocean and then ocean merging into the drop? Is this intellectually, if you are thinking, first the disciple has to be so much in love for the master that his individual presence, the egocentric identity, is dissolved in the totality that the master is. And then the master will do that. So you give me something, then I will give you, but it does not happen that way in existence. We can imagine, we can think, and that's what we are, thinking seekers, not existential seeker. So it is like you say, the moment the switch, the electrical switch is the one, when you put it on, the light comes in. So light will come, and after some time, after a time lag, the darkness will disappear. Will there be a gap between the appearance of light and the darkness to disappear? No, it happens instantaneously. There is no gap of time. The moment switch is turned on, light comes in, darkness disappears. Ignorance, ego identities disappear. The very presence along, very way along the spiritual path is dissolution of egocentric identities. Means you are empty within, and the very nature of the existence is it cannot remain empty. The moment it is empty, from all around, existence comes to fulfill you. It is like that. You can do an experiment. Take a bucket full of water, make a fist, and push the fist into the bucket of the water. It will pass through. It will go into as deep as you would want it to go. It can reach up to the bottom of the bucket. Beyond that, it cannot go. So that is the depth. Whatever depth is there, it can go to the very core of the depth. And then with the force, you pull it out. So there will be momentarily a vacuum, a hole in the bucket of the water. And the moment that hole is there, from all around, water converges and covers the hole. So how long does that hole remain? That empty space when the fist is pulled out. So exactly like that, the gap happens between two stages of Fanafiul Sheikh and Fanafiul Murid. They are really not two different states, but two aspects of one phenomena. One phenomena that we can call it dissolution. The moment dissolution process begins, simultaneously drop merges into the ocean, and ocean lends its totality to the drop. So drop merges into the ocean merges into the drop, and it happens instantaneously because the egocentric identities, your own individuality, various aspects of nafs, personalities, the covers that cover your consciousness, all that have dissolved, vanished. Then it becomes the responsibility of the existence, the master, to lend the disciple its totality. This state thus completes the process. But for that process to begin, sometimes we use the process initiation. Initiation is of the two types. The initiation with fire that begins from the lower centers. In the present day context, the initiation with fire is more relevant because so that the energy begins to move upward, and when it has the first the warmth comes in, then warmth becomes intense, and the water begins to boil, then evaporate and becomes part of the existence. So this is where the initiation with fire is needed. But sometimes with certain disciples, certain seekers, this is not, initiation is not necessary because the heart center is already invoked, the kalb is invoked. Very moment, very often they get emotional when they hear the name of the master or they hear anything about the master. The tears begin to flow profusely. Tulsidas in Ramcharitmanas says, Ramcharit sunat je aghahi, ras vishesh tin jana nahi. Those who get fed up listening to the portrayals of Ram, they have not known the essence of love. So the more you hear about the master, the more you hear about your love, the more you want to hear again, because it does not satiate you in any way. The more you hear, the more you want to hear. And then that moment, the initiation, for that reason, initiation is not needed in certain disciples. When the drop merges into the ocean or ocean merges into the river, then what happened? The, the two shores of the bed of the river are complete. Then the flow begins. And that flow that happens, that is known as Bakabi Allah. You are living, let thy will prevail, or what Nanak calls it, hukum. There is a cosmic law. Everything sentient and insentient are guided by this existential law, which is infallible. So, the same way the Bakabi Allah, God's will, is infallible. It takes care of everyone. Nobody is doing it, yet still it is happening, and you are bound by it. Enough for now.